Welcome to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast with your host, legendary powerlifter and strength athlete, Chad Ikes. For most, the journey of strength starts in the gym, but should inevitably expand through all aspects of life. Join us as we discuss all things strength. Now, here's your host, Chad Ikes.
Today on the quotes, I am going to talk about an Alan Watts quote, and then I'm going to wrap up how this quote is so similar to a quote I just did from Bruce Lee on a past episode. So let's get right into it. Alan Watts said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." And this is one that I've seen in longer quotes, but basically this was a nice short version of it. And I really like the short, simple ones that have so much depth to them. And for me, this one, I always think about crossing a stream. And as you step in the stream, there's muddy water, and the water continues to flow downstream and gets clearer and clearer as the dust or dirt particles settle back down. And if you just leave it be and let the water flow like water flows, it's going to clear back up. And I think a lot of times, what Alan Watts was basically getting to is a lot of times, the more you force things, the more you try to make things happen, the more we need to just kind of back off and not push it so hard. And then this, for me, varies down another path of some of the quotes that say, if you just let the universe, it'll bring it to you. And like, if you try too hard, it's not going to come. I think there's some middle ground in that one. And that's where I talk about like the stream, the creek. You know, if it's a pool of water and you step in it, yes, it will settle back down and become clear again. But in terms of the creek, if you just keep letting it flow and keep moving forward, it's going to do it. If you try to dam it up, if you try to do other things, it's going to take longer for that creek to clear up. So I think there's this cross and this balance of, if I focus too hard, I'm going to mess it up. If I leave it alone, yeah, it's going to clear up, but it's actually going to take longer. Like I need to find this way of, say, changing my focus on the thing that I'm working so hard to understand and realize, or the thing I'm trying to make happen so hard. Sometimes you need to keep working on it, but you need to back off, put a little more focus somewhere else. But just let things kind of go at more of a natural pace. So you're not forcing them, but you're not doing nothing either. Like you're still working towards it, just in more of a natural path. Now, the funny thing about this is my friend Casey Williams did a post on this on his Instagram. And it's shortly after I did the episode with the Bruce Lee quote, which, let me find it here and I'll go over that one again really quick for you guys. Basically, the Bruce Lee one we talked about was, "Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless like water. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow and it can crash. Be water, my friend." So I started thinking about both of these. First of all, the easiest relation is they're both talking about water. But I thought there's kind of a carryover between both of these beyond the fact that it's just about water. And it's about being formless and shapeless, about having some I'm trying to think of the word. malleability to who you are. Like, we can't go through life being one thing because we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always adapting. Situations that we're in are always going to be changing. So we need to go through life with this ability to be formless and shapeless and to adapt to all of our situations. And in both of these quotes, I'm seeing that same thing, even with the water being left alone and it'll clear. Yeah, sometimes what we want to do, it just takes time and we can't rush it. So we need to look for that natural balance. Not to ignore it, but not to push it and force it either. And that's for an aggressive person. I think there's two spectrums on this: the aggressive person and the lazy person. So the aggressive person is the one that wants to force everything, wants to make it happen, wants to make it now, wants to be in control of it. And then there's a lazy person who's just going to do nothing. And like, yeah, okay, you're formless and shapeless, but you're not doing anything to change to anything. Like, you're just there. You're just a blob. And I think life, to be the best life that it can be, we need to be able to adapt between all of these and understand that, hey, listen, I need to work hard towards this. But if I work too hard, I'm not doing myself any good. And in my way, let's talk about strength training really quick. I can only gain strength so fast. Like, if you can't force it, it's going to happen and it's going to take time. Like, yes, you can go, okay, I'm going to recover better. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to watch my training, and you can balance everything to get that maximum performance out of your body. But there's a point you can't go from a 200-pound bench to a 600-pound bench in a year. Like, those kind of things don't happen. You can't just will yourself to be a 1,000-pound squatter after training for 6 months. And then again, if you do nothing, you're never going to get stronger either. Like, sitting on the couch is not going to make you stronger. So there's this balance of, hey, I need to work, I need to go towards this goal, but at the same time, I need to understand that that's going to take time. Like, I can over push this, I can over drive towards this, and all that's going to do is slow the gains. It's going to keep that water muddy all the time. Like, if I'm scooping out water and trying to run a filter through it and I'm dumping it in a bucket and dumping it back in, and like, I'm just going to make it take longer than just letting it sit. And especially if it's the creek, I'm still going to let it flow. I'm going to let it do what it does. And it's going to clean itself in the time that it takes to clean it. Like, I don't need to make it faster. I need to just be patient. And I think this goes into a lot of aspects of life. You know, in relationships, you may be excited, you may want to rush a relationship, but you need to work towards the relationship to make it grow into what you want. But at the same time, you need to understand that these things take time and that you can't go, there is a too fast. There is pushing too hard. And I'm an aggressive person, so this lesson is a tough one for me. And I think that's why I relate to these two quotes so much, is because they're said in such a simple form that in my brain goes, yes, that completely makes sense. And then it's up to me to think about this quote, remember this quote, keep it in the back of my head and my mind, so that I can translate it into situations that I want to. Ironically enough, it's Christmas Day, and I was thinking about emotions a lot today. Thinking about how, and there's different sides to this. My perspective is emotions just happen. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no rhyme or reason. Now, that being said, there may be a reason. Somebody punches me in the face, well, I got pissed off. Okay, so I got pissed off because somebody punched me in the face, but really it's my choice to be pissed off about that. Like he just punched me in the face. He didn't force me to be angry. He just punched me in the face. That's all he did. Everything that I do after that is my own responsibility. Well, the anger is going to pop up. And that's just because it's an emotion. It does what it does. It happens when it happens. But at that very same moment, it's my choice to go, wait a minute. Do I want to be angry? Do I want to feel this? Do I want to react on this? Do I want to just lose my mind and let my anger take over and whatever happens, happens? Or do I want to choose to go, wait a minute. He hit me. I'm angry. I don't want to react on anger. Let me think about this. Where did the anger came from? Okay, the anger came from because he hit me, and that's okay. It's okay that I'm angry. But what do I want to do now? Do I want to let all these emotions create horrible other stuff for me? Or do I want to just be logical about it and look at it and go, hey, okay, I'm in a situation. What's the best choice in this situation? You know, do I go, hey, what the hell did you punch me for? Maybe it was a misunderstanding. You know, maybe I'm reading something into it I didn't. Maybe he thought I did something that I didn't do. Maybe the whole thing could be cleared up really easy. I mean, quite honestly, it's a punch in the face. Big damn deal. But it's up to me to do this. If I'm in a relationship and a girl says something to me that hurts my feelings, it's up to me to choose what I want to do with that emotion. Yes, it came from something, but it might not be logical. Most of the time it's not logical. They say something, I get hurt. Well, they didn't necessarily mean to hurt me. They didn't mean to do it. They basically, all they did was said something. How I reacted to it is my responsibility. And I know that my emotions just come sometimes. So then do I go, hey, okay, I'm hurt, I'm pissed off now. Do I just let it keep spiraling down the snowball effect until I say or do something stupid? Or do I go, wait a minute, I'm going to let her know that this hurt my feelings. And I'm going to ask her why she said that and what she meant. Because that very simply right there could clear everything up. Maybe I took it in a way that she didn't mean it at all. Maybe it came out of her mouth in a way that she did not mean it to come out that way. Very easily, very simply, this whole thing could be solved with a question. But if I feed off my emotions and I let that happen, very quickly, this whole thing could turn into a major problem. Even if I say nothing and I just go, I'm fucking hurt, fuck this, I don't want to talk about this, and I go about my business and I shove these feelings down, it's going to come back later. And the worst part is when it comes back later, I'm probably not going to understand why or where it came from. And again, it's going to come up in another emotion at an inappropriate time, an illogical time, and it's not going to make any damn sense until I dig deep enough. Then I may go, I'm overreacting to this because of what happened the last time. And I think that these kind of things go back to become water, become the teacup. Okay, somebody said something that hurt my feelings. Do I want to fight against it and try to force it into something? Or do I want to step back and go, wait a minute, like my feelings are hurt. I'm upset or I'm pissed off. But why? Why am I pissed off? I want to adapt to the situation. I want to become the situation and become the smartest me I can be in that situation. That means stepping back. That means taking the slow path. That doesn't mean rushing it and forcing it, but it doesn't mean to not do nothing either. It means to slow down and think and use my logic. And that's kind of where these two quotes go for me. And maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. But that's kind of how I translate it into some of the things that I've gone through recently and how I'm looking at things. The point being is we always have control. We always have a choice. But like water, we need to be pliable to the situation. We need to know that, hey, sometimes stepping back, collecting myself, collecting my thoughts, letting the emotion clear through me and settle down, and then going back to the problem is the best route. I think that's the best route. And this is a very, very, very tough thing to master, but I am working on it. So I hope you guys like these quotes. I hope you think about them. At least if you don't see it the way I see it, at least think about the way that I see it. And maybe, come up with your own way of seeing it. And maybe these quotes can mean even something deeper to you and help remind you in the times that you need them. We can stick things back in our brain and not think about it, but subconsciously it can still be there, and it can still trigger when we need it to trigger and pull us back from the craziness and insanity of being a human sometimes. So there you go. Alan Watts, Bruce Lee, similar quotes, a little bit different, but I think they both tie together, and I think they're both kind of along the same lines, at least in my mind. So 2 great quotes, and until next time, I hope everybody's doing great. Please check out Courage Barbell on YouTube channel. Please like and follow this podcast. Please check out my Instagram, Chad Ikes. And until next time, I am out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast. For more information, please visit CourageBarbell.com. Until next time.